What is this? Airventure 2018. We're on Boeing Plaza. We are in front of the KC-10, which is right next to the A-10, just north of the C-5. We have with us something that I didn't see when I was in the Air Force back in the Stone Age, and that is a pretty dominant female crew operating this bird. And with me right now is Captain Tori Hooper. I almost said Hopper. You're not a frog. Anyway, Tori, first of all, first time here?
Yep.
Impression? I mean, you just landed, true, but give me an impression.
No, it's amazing. I mean, I grew up in general aviation, so it was an absolute dream to come to Oshkosh.
This is a bucket list item, huh?
Oh, yeah.
And you're too young for a bucket list.
No, it's an absolute privilege to be here, flying our own airplane in, almost all female crew, and to wear the uniform.
Yeah. Well, it's like I say, it's different from when I served. I never saw a woman in uniform when I was in. That was in the 1960s. Like I say, it was a Stone Age, but it is really different today. And personally, and I'm speaking personally, I am glad to see women doing what you are doing. So congratulations, I appreciate it. Let's talk about the KC. Well, let's first of all talk about how the women are on your unit.
Awesome.
And talk about, did you have to fight to become a pilot for this bird, or are things gotten so good now that women are accepted?
Yeah, I think maybe the women and the more experienced women that I look up to, the instructor pilots and stuff like that, they maybe had more of a battle than I did. But by the time I got to this aircraft and in the Air Force, I'm really not battling much. It's equal.
And how many years have you got in so far? You are a reserve unit, correct?
I am, yes. I'm a full-time reservist, so I do this full-time, almost like an active duty individual. But I have 6 years in the Air Force and 4 years flying the KC-10.
And tell me the basic difference between the KC-135 that's over here in the corner and the DC-10, because KC-135 has been flying since the early 60s. This didn't come on board till the 80s. What's the biggest difference?
Well, besides the size, we're more versatile aircraft. So we do people moving, cargo moving, tanker. We can tanker gas, so give gas, and we're also a receiver ourselves. So if you back up from your position, you might be able to see kind of like a tattoo on its forehead. That's where we can take gas as well. So we are all over the world doing everything. We can move cargo like a C-5 or a C-17 can. People moving like they can as well, and then we give gas of a KC-135. So, but between the two of us, I'll just say that we can carry only in fuel the weight of an empty KC-135. So what they weigh empty, we can carry. So that's pretty amazing to me. We can do a lot, and we can give a lot of gas receivers and help, you know.
Isn't this tanker also more versatile when it comes to being able to refuel just about any aircraft, whereas the 35 is kind of limited?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you guys venture to the back of the aircraft, you'll see a boom halfway down with some pretty colors on it. That's for URC aircraft, mostly Air Force related, but we can switch in a matter of minutes, really, between retracting the boom and extending the basket or the drogue system. And that's mostly for Navy or Coalition and NATO aircraft.
Your fueling system, though, is considerably different from what's on the 35. Am I correct in that, or do I get a demerit on this one?
I mean, the basics of it are fairly, the systematics of it are the same. We got minor differences, but if an aircraft that needs a boom, either will work.
Okay. And how many planes could you refill if you had a full load, so to speak?
Depends on the receiver. Fighters tend to take less gas because they're smaller. Bigger aircraft like ourselves, the C-5, C-17, they're going to take way more, but we take off full load with 380,000 pounds of fuel to give. We can spend 8 hours refueling 2 fighters every hour to keep them in the sky. So.
When, where am I going? I was going to say, oh, I hate getting low energy. I know, I got it. senior moment has gone away. I've got it
I have
now.
those too.
This plane, like the A-10, the A-10 was ready to be buried multiple times. The KC-10 was also facing an obituary multiple times, and all of a sudden now we're looking at a lifespan, I think, if I read right, up until about 2040. What have they done to keep this bird in the air? How's your avionics change, your wing structure, etc.?
Sure. The main components of the KC-10 haven't really changed with its lifespan, issues. So the KC-46, I don't know if you guys have been following that. It's had its last test flight, I believe, July 8th or July 6th. And they will start having the first ones come out in October. That was meant to replace the KC-135, but budget analysis said that it'd be more cost effective to take out an entire fleet with its maintainers, its support, and stuff like that. That's why they kind of said the KC-10 was going to go away. What they needed to consider is the ramp up of how many booms we need in the air at any given time. So it kind of almost needs to be a one-for-one. However, the KC-10 can hold so much more gas than a KC-46 that it looks like a KC-135, where one KC-10 can do what two KC-135s or two KC-46s can do. So you can't really take it away and rip the rug out that fast.
The KC-10 is an outgrowth of the DC-10. KC-135 is an outgrowth of a 707. The difference is, check me on this one can be converted almost into a passenger plane within a couple of weeks. That one can't. Is that correct?
That's my understanding.
Okay. Tell me what the inside is like. I know you can go from fuel to cargo to actually transport troops too.
Absolutely.
And how long? What's the turnover time?
A couple hours.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So once you guys go up into the aircraft here, you'll enter right by where the cockpit. The cockpit will be on your left, but you turn right, you head down to the cargo bay, and we can bring, see the cargo doors raised the other side. So you bring a K-loader up with pallets full of seats, and they're like airline seats. So you get in there, and we can have 75 passengers. All it takes is for the cargo to be ready. The seat pallets to come up, we bring them on board, and then bring the passengers on board.
So what they wrote, they said that converting the DC-10 to a KC-10 wasn't really that big of a deal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so there's that. But what they did to convert it from a true DC-10 to a KC-10 was they ripped out the area beneath the aircraft where the passenger luggage compartments were, and they replaced it with fuel bladders to hold the hundreds of thousands of pounds of fuel. So that was really the main. They put some military-grade avionics in, and stuff like that, but and obviously the boom and the drogue system.
Let's talk about combat missions. You've been on a few.
Yep.
Tell us about them. Unless we get into the classified material, there's a gun somewhere you can shoot me. No. Tell me what it was like overseas, because I've talked with some of the other pilots who are out here this year, and the guy that was flying the B-1 that brought it in, they had not a close call, but they had one that got the attention of a lot of generals and a lot of colonels when they thought they had taken out Saddam, and it turned out it wasn't. And he had permission to do it, but these generals and colonels thought he didn't. And you know what that can be like. Maybe you don't, but anyway. Tell me about your missions, what they were like.
Well, I mean, to be honest, the tanker's a pretty vanilla mission. We tank off, usually with fighters on our wings, drag them in country so they can do what they do, monitor the airspace or whatnot. We basically sit in an orbit pattern over wherever we're told to be, and we are there for them. They call us Mom.
Oh, yeah, Mom.
Gotta go back to Mom and get gas.
What's your altitude when you're doing the refueling? I'm assuming it's well out of RPG range and the ground missiles.
I can't tell you that.
Can't tell me that, huh?
It varies depending on receiver's needs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me about your crew. Like I said, when I was in the service, you didn't see a woman in uniform, period. In the Navy you might have, but not in the Air Force. What are things like for you? I mean, do you feel like you have the respect of your fellow airmen, your officers, et cetera, or are we still fighting an uphill battle?
No, we absolutely have the respect of each other. We do the exact same thing. We work alongside them all day long, and there might be some back and forths, but it's the old school days of they can't do that, or it's gone.
I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's great.
Anybody in the crowd got a question they would like to ask of the captain? Raise your hand and I'll come out to you.
Non-classified. Any KC-10 specific stuff? I know I've seen some of you up there in the cockpit.
Okay. Your guys are out of Travis, correct?
Yes.
When you brought her in here, did you have any special cargo that you brought in, or this was just a fun flight?
This was a pretty much a fun flight. I mean, our mission was to get here on time in a window because we have so much general aviation flying around. It was a little nerve-wracking for us. But we did accomplish some training coming over. We took off right in front of that C-5, and we refueled them over Northern California and Southern Oregon before landing here. So we did
Is
a
that
training
mission?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, anyway, Captain, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you bringing in this KC-10. I think that's the first time we've had one here, if I remember right. But anyway, and most of all, thank you and your crew for your service to our country. Really appreciate
Thanks.
it.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Any questions, you can come up and find me, or anybody else up here. Thanks.
Thanks, Tori.
Yeah, no problem at all.